Hey, friend, Heather Creekmore here. Thanks for watching or listening to the Compare To podcast today. Today, we're talking about altered images. This is a podcast I never even thought would be possible to record. I mean, back in the day when I first started this, we were talking about Photoshop and recognizing that a woman didn't have that bikini line that the magazine shows that she has because she's been Photoshopped. We were talking about those sorts of things. But that was kind of reserved for the elite, right? Photoshop was for models or people who were really great with computers. But now AI is everywhere. And perhaps like me, your Facebook and Instagram feed was filled with images like this one. Now, for my audio only listening audience, friend, you're going to want to go to YouTube and watch this because you're going to want to see these images, especially some of the images I show you of me later in the episode. But perhaps you saw women in like candy cane jumpsuits or really sparkly New Year's Eve dresses. All of these images were generated by AI. Now, I stumbled upon this fall when I was offered the opportunity to buy an AI program that would create headshots for me. And my motivation was YouTube. I needed new YouTube thumbnails. I felt a little ridiculous sitting here taking selfies of myself with different facial expressions. And I thought this will be helpful. It'll take my face and it'll give me different expressions. And then my team can use that for all of my thumbnails. And they showed an example of Dave Ramsey, the finance guy, and how they took his image and made 30 different thumbnails from one image. And I was like, okay, yeah, I want that. That's easy. Yes, I did wrestle for a minute with the ethics of it all, but I knew I wasn't trying to create pictures that would make me look better. I was just trying to get a bunch of different poses simply to save myself some time. But here's what happened. When I started messing with AI images of myself, things took a scary twist. I saw pictures of myself that were, in some cases, I know this word is overused, but triggering. In some cases, they were outright hilarious. In some cases, they were unnerving. And out of all the images I got, there were maybe three that were realistic enough to be usable. And instead of asking for my money back on the program, I thought, what a great podcast episode. I shared some of the funnier pictures with my friends, and I realized most people don't even know what AI can do with your image and how easy it is. So that's where we're going today. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to dig into it. You're going to see all of my funny pictures. So thanks for watching or listening. Hey, we start a brand new 40-day journey on Tuesday, January 20th. Even if you're listening to this after January 20th, we do these quarterly. So go to improvebodyimage.com and you can find out all about it. If you are sick of struggling with the way you look, if this has been a mental obsession for you for a long time or a short time, we want to help. We want to show you the answers. And they may not be the traditional Christian answers you're expecting. We're going to go deep and you're going to find healing and hopefully some freedom from that mental obsession. So you can go to improvebodyimage.com, look for the 40-day journey tab. It's 6 weeks. It's the most affordable body image coaching you'll find anywhere for Christian women. Go check that out. We'd love to have you join us. Now, let's get to today's episode. Okay, so we all know that Instagram has filters. Photoshop has been around forever, but it always required you to have some skills to use it. Now, AI can make anyone look flawless. And not just flawless, but completely different in like 2 snaps. And what we don't often realize is that these altered images don't just change how we see other people, they can literally change how we see ourselves. So today we're diving into how those doctored pictures really mess with our brains. They mess with our body image. They can even mess with our faith. So the first thing we need to understand is that most of the images you see now are doctored. This is not a rare thing anymore, friend. In fact, if you're posting real, untouched photos of yourself, you're in the minority. About 70% of young women report editing or filtering photos before posting. Surveys show that most people know images are altered, but our brains can't process them as fake. That's the key. They're easy to download apps like Remini allow you to create oodles of photos of yourself using your head and features. And you can make yourself into almost anything that you want to be. So when I first started speaking, I would carry a woman's magazine around with me. And I would talk about how the woman on the cover was obviously airbrushed. And a decade or more ago, there were laws passed, especially in Europe, that required publishers to put just this teeny tiny little footnote on the picture that said, this picture has been airbrushed or this picture has been altered. And that was supposed to help us not be envious of what we saw in that photos. It was supposed to help us tell our brains that that's not real. You don't have to compare yourself to her because she's not real. A couple problems exist with that, though. First, it was never passed in the United States. Okay, so that was never a law here. But most importantly, you need to know that is not how our brains work. You see, even when we know an image is fake, our brains still treat it like it's real. And now with AI images, things have gone so much further than airbrushing could have ever taken it. So please understand, there are no laws that require companies to disclose when they use AI photos. And that doesn't even touch the wild, wild west of Instagram. Yesterday, I saw a before and after video for a diet program. And the woman before was wearing tight blue pants and a blue shirt that was kind of like rolled up under her bra so her belly fat could stick out. And it was kind of obvious that maybe it didn't fit. And that was her before. And then she jumps to after, and she's maybe a size 0. And the blue shirt now is like long sleeve and covers everything, and same blue pants. And it was actually someone else posting it, suggesting, like, hey, you all need to realize this is AI. And the way you could tell was in the background, like she had junk kind of, you could see her bedroom behind it. She had junk kind of thrown around the bedroom all in the same place. She had like some shoes behind her. Like the setting was exactly the same to a T. And the person doing the video was like, this is not real. Like you couldn't possibly recreate the same scene 6 months, 3 months later to the T. Like this is AI. And our brains get tricked because honestly, friend, if I had watched that, if that reel had just gone by, I probably would have believed it. So let's talk about how our brains work. There's a neuroscience behind images. The human brain processes visuals 60,000 times. That's 6 with 4 zeros behind it, times faster than text. We feel the impact of an image before we have a chance to logically tell ourselves, oh, that's been edited. Oh, that might not be real. The other thing to realize is that when you have body image issues, your brain may be processing images of other thinner, more beautiful people as a threat. So you may be entering fight or flight, a stress response. So when you see that image, it makes it even harder for you to use your prefrontal cortex, for you to use the thinking part of your brain and say, oh, wait, that's not real. No, you can't do that. You're stressed out. You're like, everyone else is getting skinny. They're winning. In fact, functional MRI studies show that viewing idealized, altered body images activates the reward system in the brain, releasing dopamine, making us feel drawn in. Like, I want to see it. I want hope. I want inspiration. Wow, it's amazing to look at all these. But then it also makes us feel inadequate. And there's this reality of perceptual adaptation. We talk about it all like it's danger for those who view pornography and how damaging it is to look at visually altered images of women in the porn world because your brain gets messed up and it begins to believe that this is what women should look like. But the more we see digitally slimmed waists, smooth skin, enlarged eyes, the more our brain adjusts to what is normal. And over time, Normal women look less than because the brain has recalibrated its standard to the standard of the altered image. When you never see women who have cellulite or fat rolls or wrinkles or dry skin, you begin to feel like you are the only one who is different. Your body is not right. But the weird thing here is your body is actually what's normal. It's the altered images that are wrong. But what happens is you start wanting your mirror reflection to match your refiltered reflection. You know those images are just pixels, but they're rewiring your brain. And so this creates a kind of cognitive dissonance. We might know the image is fake, but the emotions don't line up. Our prefrontal cortex may be able to say it's filtered, it's altered, that's not real. But the emotional brain still feels, I don't measure up. I should look more like that. If I worked out harder, if I ate different, I know maybe I could look more like that. There's something wrong with me. So even if your head knows it's not real, your heart can still hurt as if it is. Okay, so like so many women don't realize that you can access AI now easily. It might even be free, and you can alter pictures with ease. And I think that there's many women out there, as part of the reason I'm doing this episode, who don't realize how far this whole thing has gone. There's a newish phenomenon called Snapchat dysmorphia, and surgeons are reporting patients bringing in their filtered selfies as inspiration photos. Boston University study showed women who use editing apps frequently show stronger desire for cosmetic procedures. An American Academy of Facial Plastic and Reconstructive Surgery study found a steady rise in requests for women to look more like the filtered versions of themselves. We don't have any data around what these AI programs are doing to us, but if this is what just simple editing and filters did, according to these studies, oh, friends, I think we're in trouble. So here's what happened to me. You ready for this? Like I shared in the intro, my goal just to get some headshots for YouTube, some thumbnails. But what I ended up with was more than 100 images. Now, I thought I was getting headshots, like things that would stop right here. And many of them were full body. Yikes. I had no idea how triggering this was going to be. Now, some of these are just flat out hilarious. It's a little embarrassing, but I'm going to walk you through these because I think it's really important for you to see how easy this was for me to do and how vastly different I can look depending on which image of myself I choose. Now, this was not a simple downloadable app. This was a program that was targeted for authors and YouTube people. So I paid more for this than any app you're going to find on the App Store. But here's the way it worked. I gave it 8 pictures of myself, and it was supposed to combine these pictures, like glean data from each image, and create a model of me. And what I think it actually did was sometimes it would use like part of the photo, like my face, and then sometimes it would use other photos, but I didn't really see any evidence of it actually like gleaning my eye size, nose shape, that kind of thing, and like creating a model of me. And this is important to me because the headshot that I use most often is about 4 years old. And I know that at 51 years old, I don't look like I did at 47. This is a season of lots of change. But I haven't been able to get new headshots done. It's expensive. Honestly, I know there are days in the month when I look really puffy and days when I don't look so puffy. And I really would prefer to get photos done on a less puffy day. But in perimenopause, I haven't had a lot of luck figuring out which days those were going to be. And so it's tricky to schedule a photographer. And those are all my excuses. So perhaps I still have some body image work to do here. But my goal was never to generate photos to make myself look better. again, I just wanted some sort of accurate representation of myself. So I gave AI 8 different photos of me. Some were from this headshot, some were just like snapshots I did in my office, even on a puffier day. I even took a selfie that morning and sent it as one of the 8 shots. And I'd hoped that AI was going to blend them together so it would be accurate and maybe age those headshots that I had from 4 years ago. But it didn't do that. So, are you ready? Here's what happened. I'm going to start with the most hilarious one. This was the most extreme one. There you go. So, for those of you who can't see this, I am essentially a bobblehead doll. I have never been this skinny in my life, and this has never been my body frame. So, this was really strange for me to see myself like this. Even knowing that it's not me, it just creeped me out. And I sent this photo to Tara, one of my coaches, and she told me that she showed it to her husband because she thought it was funny. And then I instantly felt this weird shame over her husband seeing like it shows a lot of cleavage. And I don't, it just felt weird. It wasn't even my body. That wasn't even my cleavage, but I just felt exposed. But again, it's not even really me. And this brought up a little safety alert I just want to make sure we're all aware of. Like, know that all those selfies you have on Instagram can easily be taken and put into a program like this to generate pictures and even videos of you wearing whatever the program wants you to wear. And this is a warning I've seen, especially for young women, but it's so much easier than Photoshop now. There's nothing to stop a stalker or a jilted ex-boyfriend or a weirdo creep from taking all those headshots you have on your social media and putting them on a body and then circulating next to nude photos of you. This is really important for us to understand. It becomes very difficult to prove or explain that this is not you. It's really hard to recognize the fakes because they look so real now. Okay, now more of my AI generated photos. Okay, this is from that one time I did a TED Talk. Okay, you don't remember that? Oh, I don't either because I did apply to do one once, but never got to do one. But here's the weird thing, like there's nothing but my own conscience and moral conviction to stop me from passing it off as if I did a TED Talk. And this photo actually looks reasonably like me. Like, I think you would buy it and believe that was me doing a TED Talk. Now, there's another one, which is the TED Talk I did after I finished my career as a supermodel. Not so believable, friend. I have never had that kind of thigh gap in my life. But no, you may be being fooled by others who seem to have had these accomplishments in their life. Maybe they just said AI generate their appearance at a TED Talk. Oh, here's one, another grand appearance of mine from my appearance on the Grand Ole Opry. That's, oh, friend, you actually just need to go to YouTube and see this shirt I have on. I would never wear this shirt. And then, oh, here was my appearance when I did magic on The Tonight Show. Now, I just want to stop and question the creator of this program. Like, who do they think their audience is? Like, the TED Talk thing made sense, but the Grand Ole Opry and magic tricks on The Tonight Show, not sure that that's ever going to be useful for anyone. Oh, here's this one. You'll love this. This is the time when a perimenopausal woman chose to wear head to toe knit jumpsuit to a speaking engagement. Friend, you know this one is AI generated because I would never wear this and I could never wear this without sweating right through it. I mean, even winter in Alaska outside, I couldn't wear a knit jumpsuit like that anywhere. So as you may have noticed, AI didn't do a bad job of capturing my face and my upper body isn't too far off in these, but the image is still perfect. There are no folds, neck creases, wrinkles, ugly stuff. It's all flawless. And that's where things started to get a little wonky. As I explored more and was thinking about how easy it is to pass these images off as real, I tried to create what would essentially be an after photo for a weight loss before and after picture. But this one especially was triggering to me. This was me as a fitness model. Now I'm 51 years old and maybe look about 30. And I'd be lying if I didn't say that I looked at this picture and had a twinge of like, wow, I kind of wish I looked like that. It really messes with your head to see what could be according to the artificial intelligence in these photos. Now, here's another one. This one just made me laugh. This is the only full body shot I could get it to generate. And again, the AI had no full body photos of me, so it didn't have any context from which to generate this photo. I'm not built like this at all. So this just made me laugh. I think I lost my neck somewhere. But then, oh, friend, there's this one. This one did a pretty good job of getting closer to what I could look like if I had my hair and makeup done and had a great photographer and great lighting and a great location. And the crazy realization I had was I've seen dozens of people with this picture on the internet, dozens. I've actually spent time wondering how did they take a photographer with them to get coffee and get all these elements just right to get the perfect photo? In other words, I've believed this photo was real and I've compared myself to this photo of other people because of how warm and amazing and cozy it is. And now I know they did it on the internet just with a few clicks. Oh, finally. And I want this conversation to turn back to be a little deeper because this is what we're going to talk about how this affects our spiritual health. I want to show you the photo that triggers me the most. Interestingly enough, it's not the photo of the fitness model. I know I can't look 30 anymore. I'm okay with that. But this auto generated image tapped into something that was trapped deep inside me that I wasn't even sure was still there. We've talked about it before. We talked about this concept of an ideal image. This is something I do with my clients all the time. And the ideal image I would define as this image we carry around in our heads of what we should look like or what we could look like if we got it all together. I like to say that our ideals are our idols. And this image for me would certainly be that. It would certainly be an idol. This is what Heather at age 51 is/was supposed to look like. Yeah, that's how I always wanted to look as an older woman. Now, I've never had this frame of body. I've never had a thigh gap. Even when I was much thinner, I never really had this kind of frame. So this would pretty much be an impossibility for me to look like this. And yet, seeing this photo triggers something in my heart that says this is possible. Look, you could look like that. That's what you would look like if you did it all right. That could be you. And that's the dangerous thing here, friend. Having access to what you and I could look like or would look like if we weighed less or were older or younger or more sculpted or had better skin, it can be really dangerous for our brains, but also for our spiritual lives. As I was talking to my team about it, showing them the photos, like we were all laughing, but Presley pointed out something really wise. She said, now you can actually have an image of yourself to worship. You see, when I work with women, we do this ideal image exercise. You're trying to tap into who you think you should be or what you think you should look like or how you think your body should look. And we're trying to identify what's been driving you to change your body all these years. What image of yourself are you trying to achieve? But before, you would just have to imagine it. You didn't actually have the possibility of seeing what you would look like with Kim Kardashian's hair and Scarlett Johansson's body. Now you can create that image. This takes the whole thinspo or fitspo, which those are like acronyms for thin inspiration or fit inspiration. It takes that whole concept of putting an inspirational picture on your fridge to help you meet your goals. It takes it to this whole new crazy, brain deceiving, heart wrecking level. And spiritually, I'd say it's far more dangerous. So what do we do about that? What are the spiritual and emotional implications of these AI photos and how easy they are and how cute I would look in that candy cane jumpsuit that's going to smooth out all my wrinkles. And I'm going to kind of feel good when I post it on Instagram because people are going to be like, boy, you look hot. It cost me something. Here's what it cost me. So the first thing we have to wrestle with is this a reality that we aren't made by artificial intelligence. We were created by a one-of-a-kind designer, the same designer who created all of creation. And the problem with AI is that it is artificial. It does not have any original intelligence. It only has the ability to curate things from things that already exist. So the best it can do is make you look like someone else. And while this seems like a dream, man, I'd love to have her body, love to have her face. We felt this over and over again, right? But I wasn't made with her body. My longing to have what someone else has is really not healthy for me spiritually. Even in the Ten Commandments, we're instructed not to covet. I remember it's probably 15 years ago now, accidentally reading this passage from Exodus or Deuteronomy in the King James. It's the Ten Commandments passage. And I remember reading the words, you shouldn't covet your neighbor's ass. And of course, the Bible means donkey, but I had just seen a picture with J-Lo's butt on the cover of a magazine. And I thought, man, I need a butt like that. And God spoke right to me through that passage saying, Heather, no, this is covetous. It's a sin to say to God, I don't like how you made me. I really wish you had made me more like her. And this is where it gets tricky. We live in a culture that uses, I'm going to call it paint your own pottery theology. That's a concept from my 40-day body image workbook. And by the way, we start a 40-day body image journey January 20th, Tuesday. It's not too late to join. We do them quarterly. But this is a concept where, as Christians, we can believe that God gave us kind of the raw material, like the blank pot at the paint your own pottery place. And then he made it our job to sculpt and to paint and to perfect. And the theology here is that God gave me a body as a project. He made me this body so that I could then make it as beautiful and as appealing and as culturally admirable as possible. But friend, that's not good theology. That's not why God gave me a body. God gave me a body to use for his glory. He didn't give me a body that was supposed to become a project to make more beautiful, to bring glory to myself. He actually gave me a body because he has something here on earth he wants me to do with it. He has things that he actually designed for me to do, and he built me uniquely, not artificially, originally, so that I could do those things that he has designed for me. You see, our bodies give us clues about what we were designed for. I've spoken before about how I've got really stubby little fingers and they type super fast. And the clue about my design is perhaps I was designed to write books or type things. He didn't give me long, thin fingers. Like his goal for me was never to break into hand modeling or be an amazing pianist. My fingers don't even stretch a full octave. I'm not built for that. I could spend my whole life coveting other people's long, thin fingers, or maybe trying to do stretching exercises to get mine to go further, but I'll still never have what it takes because I wasn't designed for that. Friend, you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are the Imago Dei. You're made in the image of God. What does it mean that we'd rather be made in the image of another human being? Yikes. This is a dangerous realization when we've elevated other people and what they look like above God. We've said, yeah, that's great to be made in your image, God, but wouldn't it be even better if I was made in her image? Like, that's what would be really good for me. That would be super helpful. And it really highlights the level of body idolatry we all struggle with. It showcases what our hearts are really worshiping and really valuing. If my heart is not content to say God's design is good, then I know I've got a problem, both with what I'm worshiping and then what I'm actually believing. And I know, friends, some of you are saying, but God designed it good and then I messed it up. I did a podcast episode on that. I hope you listen to it. Whatever you've done to your body, friend, if God can fix your most difficult problem, which is sin, and if he can redeem that and restore you to reconciliation with him forever, friend, whatever you've done to your body is not unredeemable. You're not too far gone from his grace. He still has something for you to do. Stop believing the enemy's lie that you've messed up your good body and now your life has to be about fixing it. That's just not biblical. These perfectionistic images we have in our head, the perfection we see in these photos, the perfection we see everywhere in media and social media, friends, they are beckoning us to worship a perfect image. But we're not supposed to worship a perfect image. We're supposed to worship a perfect God. Okay, so let me leave you with some practical tips today. Really like grassroots down to business, practical, practical, practical. Okay, thing one, I really, 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 really want you to think about your scrolling. I think the healthiest thing you can do before scrolling should probably be say something like, I'm going into an imaginary world, like I'm going into a cartoon land. This is fiction. I'm starting to read a fiction book. Like think about it in that way and pray hard before you scroll. God, help me to see the fiction here. Help me to worship what is true and not these false images. But seriously, friend, just know when you see these images, when you watch these reels, they are going to mess with your brain. And so pause before you scroll, say, this isn't real. When you see those people jump in the reels and suddenly they're 80 pounds lighter, or you see the before and after pictures, the workout photos, I hope you'll remember my photos. Like, there's no law that stops me from telling you that these photos aren't me. And if I had something to sell you, I definitely want to show you a perfect picture of me and hope that you would buy my product or supplement or whatever it is, because look at how much better it made me look. And I'd just be lying. Another tip here, do you have your screen time set? This has been my latest hack. I set my screen time to 30 minutes a day for all of social media. Any more than that's just too dangerous for me. 30 minutes is my limit. And probably even with that, I could back that down to 20 or 15. I take social media off my phone completely sometimes for seasons. If you're going to keep it on your phone, be sure to curate your feed. Start unfollowing all those accounts that trigger comparison and envy. If you're getting a bunch of ads with spammy stuff, like weight loss stuff that you don't want to see, that's triggering you, unfollow, report as spam, report as unhelpful, report. There's all different things you can report and you'll stop getting those kind of ads. One other thing I've done is I start saying with the ads, I start saying, I'm not interested in this. I'm not interested in this. And then I click on something like, I don't know, dog joint health. And so it's taken a while, but I've subtly changed my Instagram feed to have ads for dog joint health and shoes, good walking shoes. So you can mess with your feed and get those things that are distracting or tempting for you out of your feed. If you're really feeling triggered by what you could look like or feel that drive of the ideal image or the image idol pulling you, friend, just stop and pray. Ask God to reveal to you what you are believing. Ask Him to show you what you're worshiping, but also ask Him to show you the why. Like, why do you long for that image so much? As I see the image I showed you of me in the yellow blazer, like, here's why I long for that. Because I believe the lie that that woman has an easier life than I do. I believe she's more likable. I believe she's less messy. I believe she doesn't struggle. I believe her life is better than mine because she's so much thinner and such a snappy dresser. And none of that is true. It's not true that women who are thinner or more beautiful live problem-free lives and never have health issues. Like, I've got a long list of friends who don't have an extra pound, that have had knee replacements or hip replacements or diabetes or heart disease or cancer, you name it. It's only the idol that lies to us and says what it means to be thin and beautiful is to be free from pain and struggle. And scripture's clear. None of us are free from that. In this life, you will have trouble, but take heart because Jesus, has overcome the world. God is most interested in the purity of our hearts. He's asking for our allegiance to Him. He's asking for us to trust Him, to follow Him. We have to believe that He knows what's best for us, that He knows what's good for us, and to be focused entirely on fixing up this temporary body is kind of like checking into a hotel room and deciding to redecorate. Like you check in and immediately decide, you know what, this hotel room needs new curtains, new bedspread. Maybe we should change out the end tables, get some new flooring. Like you'd never do that in a hotel because it's a temporary residence. You won't be living in a hotel room forever. Like, why would you spend a dime or a minute remodeling it? Like, you wouldn't. And to some degree, friend, it's the same with our bodies. Of course, we should be good stewards of them, just like we should take care of that hotel room. We should take care of our bodies. You don't trash your hotel room, but to spend your life and your money and your time and make remodeling it, redecorating it your life project, friend, store up treasures in heaven, right? Aging is real. And even if you put your all into it, it's not going to stay that way. It's still going to change. It just keeps changing. I hope that thought will give you something to chew on today. So here's my closing encouragement for you. Bottom line, friend, we weren't all created to look the same. You're not made of plastic. I talk about this in the 40-day journey too. We examine it biblically. The difference between being designed and created versus being manufactured. You are not a red Solo cup, but these AI images are manufactured. You know, it's interesting how many words in fitness and beauty try to make us sound more plastic, don't they? Like we have to be firm or smooth or shiny or perfect. And that's how red Solo cups roll off the assembly line. But that's not how real people are born or how real people age. I mean, isn't it interesting that we call elective surgeries to fix our bodies plastic surgery? Plastic? Because I guess it could make us look a little bit more like Barbie, a little more plastic. And again, I'm not saying all plastic surgery is bad. Please hear me. There's nothing inherently sinful about getting surgery done, but we have to think about our motives. Think about what we are worshiping. Do we worship perfect images? Or again, do we worship the perfect God? You are a real person. You are not an AI generated image. Don't let these images get in your head and rob you of the joy of being fully alive in the body that God gave you. Don't let discontent, comparison, and envy steal your thought life, time, and money as you chase becoming a better looking version of you. Remember, Jesus was the only perfect man to ever live. And yet we know he wasn't perfect looking. Scripture tells us he was nothing to look at all. So when we chase the world's definition of perfection, we're not really following Jesus's way. We're following these idols that will ultimately distract and destroy us and separate us from the one true God who loves us. My life verse is Jonah 2:8. Those who pay attention to vain idols forsake all hope of steadfast love. I don't want to chase becoming more like an AI image and forsake God's love in the process. And I hope you feel the same. Hey, thanks for listening. If you're on YouTube, be sure to press like and subscribe. We'd love to have you follow for more great content. And if you're listening on the podcast today, I hope you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. Thanks again for listening. I hope something today has helped you stop comparing and start living. Bye-bye.